Welcome into Dolphins Today. I am Will Scott here on day 3 of the NFL Draft, and the Dolphins have just made their second selection, taking Erik Ezukanma, a wide receiver out of Texas Tech. A truly fascinating selection here for the Dolphins. And coming into today, and even when the Dolphins were on the clock, I really had no idea what direction they were going to go in here because there were some really good offensive line options for the Dolphins. Offensive line, in my opinion, I'm sure yours as well, still the biggest Dolphins team need. They had Zach Tom on the board. They had Alec Lindstrom on the board. They went wide receiver. Khalil Shakir out of Boise State was there. Calvin Austin surprisingly fell to 125, but they go with Erik Ezukanma, a wide receiver out of Texas Tech, who was on the All-Big 12 team for the Red Raiders last season. Before we get into more about Ezukanma, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so by hitting that big red button. At the end of the day, we're going to have a Dolphins draft grades video going out, so you certainly don't want to miss that. And then tomorrow, we're going to be breaking down some of the undrafted free agents that the Dolphins have signed. Who knows, D'Eriq King might be a possibility for the Dolphins to go get tomorrow after the draft or even tonight. So go ahead and subscribe for more Dolphins draft content. Let's get into more about Ezukanma, and I think I know the reason that Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier decided to take him. What did Tua tell us a few weeks ago? They want to yak the hell out of teams. Yards after catch, that's what they want to do. That's what the focus is going to be on offense, and he was arguably the best yards after catch receiver still remaining in this draft. That is what he did at Texas Tech. You get this guy on a screen, you let him go to work. That was Ezukanma's identity at Texas Tech. 705 receiving yards last season, 4 receiving touchdowns. Was he the best receiver on the board here? No. But is he the best fit amongst all the receivers on the board? Maybe. They'll have to prove that to me. I would have taken Calvin Austin, but I still overall like the selection here. I think that they maybe should have gone with Lindstrom, considering that Michael Dieter is the only center on the roster right now, but they want to be an offensive-minded team. That's what it's going to look like under Mike McDaniel. Look at what he did in San Francisco. So Ezukanma, the selection for the Dolphins at 125 overall. Very interesting pick, and I think a little bit of a surprising selection here for the Dolphins. Now, they did trade Devontae Parker a few weeks ago. However, wide receiver, really not that big of a team need for Miami, and we'll get into some of my team needs a little bit later on in the show after their second selection in the 2022 NFL Draft. So I want you to grade the pick if you're watching back at home. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. I know a lot of y'all were spamming the comments yesterday saying, take Matt Araiza, take a punter. I'm not shocked they didn't go with Araiza. And Araiza, surprisingly, not even the first punter off the board. Jordan Stout going to Baltimore at 130 overall. So let me know what you think down in the comments about this pick. It's the pinned comment on today's video. So when you're hit with an ad break here in a few seconds, go down and let me know what you think. I'm going to give it a B-. And look, when Professor Scott is giving out his grades, he's going to look at more than just the player himself. He's going to look at who else was on the board and what were the team needs. Was Ezukanma the best player on the board? No. Was he the best wide receiver on the board? No. Does he fill a big team need? No. That's why I'm giving this a B- as opposed to an A. I really like him as a prospect. I thought the Dolphins might have reached on him a little bit. But the reason I'm giving it a B- instead of, let's say, a C or D is because I think he fits really well into what the Dolphins are going to do. I think this is someone you can put on the outside. I think it's someone you can put in the slot. And I think he's going to be a weapon for Tua in terms of screens, in terms of crossing routes. I think yards after the catch is going to be something we're seeing a lot of with Erik Ezukanma. I encourage all Dolphins fans to go and watch this guy on tape because he's very elusive. He broke a lot of tackles at Texas Tech, and he's dangerous in open space. Here's what Lance Zierlein of NFL.com said about him. The route tree has been limited by scheme. He's not as polished with the routes. He runs as he should be for his experience level. Size, ball skills, toughness work in his favor as a quality backup with some upside. I agree with this. I think that he's going to be a backup in his rookie season. Maybe he can evolve as a bigger weapon for Tua in this Dolphins offense. Second team All Pac-12, I should say second team All Big 12 last season. Led Texas Tech in receiving. Now, when you're looking at what he did before last season, he had a pretty good season in 2020 as well, and maybe that's what the Dolphins were looking for here, a wide receiver with not just one good season, but 3 really good college seasons. 2019, also a solid year at Texas Tech. He led Texas Tech in receiving yards each of the last 3 seasons, ran a 4.5 4.40 at the Combine, so there's obviously some faster wide receivers on the board as well. But like I said, the appeal here with taking Ezukanma is what he can do after the catch, and that's what the Dolphins are trying to pride themselves on under new head coach Mike McDaniel and new offensive coordinator Frank Smith. If you are watching the NFL Draft, you need to do it on Chat Sports, the best NFL draft coverage. When the Dolphins pick in round 7, ESPN's going to be in commercial. They're going to be in a Tostitos commercial or something when the Dolphins are picking in round 7 when they take Sincere McCormick in round 7. That's my Dolphins prediction for round 7. I would be thrilled. I might have to put those sunglasses back on if they take Sincere McCormick. So there's the sub link right there. Go and sub to our main channel where we have all the draft coverage you need today, breaking down each and every single pick. Chat Sports TV, go sub youtube.com/Chat Sports TV. Sub link in the comments and in the description. Here's the Dolphins wide receiver depth chart. I haven't put Ezukanma in yet because I'm still trying to figure out where he's going to fit. Like I said, he could be an outside receiver. He could play behind Jalen Waddle. He could also play the slot behind Cedric Wilson and Lynn Bowden. But this is a Dolphins team that's going to be very fast. You look at Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, they're the 2 fastest wide receivers in the NFL. You add Cedric Wilson, a very underrated free agency signing. And then Lynn Bowden, a lot of people have forgotten about him, but he's going to be someone I think to watch on this Dolphins team for next season. Going to be really interesting how and where they use Ezukanma. That being said, there were bigger needs to fill. I mean, I don't understand why they didn't take a center here. I'm really surprised. I even tweeted right before the selection that I fully expected Alec Lindstrom to be the pick, not just because they needed a center, but because he was coached by new Dolphins offensive line coach Matt Applebaum at Boston College. I think that made a lot of sense. Alec Lindstrom, I didn't like him as much as Luke Fortner, but he had more experience at the center position, so I wasn't that disappointed when Luke Fortner was off the board before pick 102, especially considering who was on the board with Channing Tindall, who they eventually ended up taking. But when you look at it, if you wanted to take a wide receiver, there were better wide receivers on the board. You could have gone Khalil Shakir out of Boise State, an explosive down-the-field threat. You could have taken Calvin Austin, who was one of the fastest wide receivers in this class, ran a 4.3 40 at the Combine, and I cannot believe he's still falling. As we're recording this video, he still hasn't been taken. I don't understand it. A couple of surprising falls here in this NFL draft, Malik Willis included, and I was surprised to see Channing Tindall on the board at pick 102. Hence my reaction yesterday when the Dolphins took him. They better sign J.C. Tretter, though. You didn't take a center in round 3. You didn't take one in round 4. Michael Dieter is the only center on the roster right now, and he sucks. So they better take a center in the 7th round. Dawson Dean might be an option. Or they better sign J.C. Tretter. Because, look, as good as Dawson Dean is, and I'm sure James Empey is going to be there in round 7 as well for the Dolphins, I don't see them coming in and starting right away. So J.C. Tretter, we need to make it happen. Let's not give up, Dolphins fans. This needs to have more momentum now than ever before. Tweet hashtag JC to Miami, at JC Tretter, and I will retweet your tweet after the Dolphins have failed to draft a center in rounds 3 and round 4. And I'm not like that upset about it because overall the picks they have are pretty solid, but they need to take a center in round 7 or sign J.C. Tretter. Here are the Dolphins' 2 picks. I gave Channing Tindall an A grade. Very, very pleasantly surprised he was there for the Dolphins to take. Absolutely thrilled with that because he was the best player on the board, arguably, and it fills a team need. Erik Ezukanma doesn't fill a team need. He wasn't the best on the board, but I think fits Mike McDaniel's system very well. I'm going to give it a B- grade. So there's the 2 picks. We're halfway home here on Dolphins Today, covering the NFL Draft. 2 selections remaining. Here are my Dolphins team needs coming into the draft. Wide receiver at the bottom of my list. Not shocked they took one, though. Center still the top of my list, so it's going to be interesting if they sign, draft Dawson Deaton. He is certainly a name I'd look for in round 7. If you were asking me to pick the round 7 selections right now, predict them, and may I remind Dolphins fans that I predicted Channing Tindall to the Dolphins. I think they draft Dawson Deaton and Sincere McCormick in round 7. Those are my predictions. I want to hear what you have to think, though. What is the biggest team need left for the Dolphins? Is it center? Is it right tackle? Is it running back? Let me know what you think down in the comments section. This has been Will Scott with Dolphins Today. Buckle up, Dolphins fans. We got a long wait ahead of us, so kick back, relax, watch our coverage here on Chat Sports. I'll be back in a few hours grading the Dolphins' round 7 selections.